Hi everyone, I'm happy to be a design team member for Tupelo Designs LLC, where U.S. shipping is always free with no minimum purchase, and international orders are discounted, and you can collect generous reward points for every dollar spent. So be sure to shop at Tupelo for all your crafting needs, and please check out their website for their weekly sales. I'm going to create a shaker card with this Lawn Fawn Mermaid for You stamp set, and this is the shaker card. It turned out super cute. And these are two foam pieces, 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I am going to adhere these together with double-sided tape. And I want to make sure that they're really stuck together, so I use a lot of tape. And I'm just going to press it firmly and make sure that it's stuck together. And now I'm going to use this jar die, and I've had this jar die forever. I can't even remember who made it. And I just stuck it to my cardstock and cut it out. And now I'm going to just hold it onto the foam, and I'm going to draw the jar using the die as a stencil. And I'm going to cut it out with a pair of scissors, but I didn't, not the top part, just the jar part. And now I'm going to check just to make sure I don't have to trim any excess off. And I don't, so it looks pretty good. And this is a card base. It's a standard A2 size card base. And I'm going to use some double-sided tape to adhere the foam to the water paper, and the paper that I'm picking for the background is from the Doodlebug mermaid paper. And there I'm just going to stick this foam piece right on there. And now I'm going to use double-sided tape to stick that to my card base, and that's just a standard A2 size card base. And I'm just going to stick it right on there. And now I'm using the jar cutout, and I'm going to add some double-sided tape to that. And then I have a piece of acetate. It's just from an old packaging, and I had cut that down so it's a little bit smaller than the card base. And I didn't have to make it go all the way up to the top. So I'm just going to stick that on there. And now I'm going to pick out what stamps I want to use to stamp out in color. So I'm just going to lay them there, and I'm going to end up not using some of them. And this is Memento Black Tuxedo ink. And I'm just going to stamp out my stamps here. And this is a Georgia Pacific cardstock. And I'm using Abandoned Coral to stamp out some coral. And then I'm going to use Spiced Marmalade for another piece of coral, and for the grass or the seaweed it's going to be Lucky Clover. Crushed Olive. And Bundled Sage. And that's for the seaweed. Now I'm going to color some of the smaller elements, and I did stamp out some more of the smaller elements. And the mermaid is FS2 and FS3. And these are Spectrum Noir markers. I always start with the lightest first and then the darkest, then I go on with the lightest to blend it out. And that's for the hair. That's going to be a blonde hair. And this is going to be for orange hair. That's GB5 or an OR1, or is it G85? And GB8 and GB10. And for the mermaid tails, CG1 and DG2. And PP2 and PP1 for the bikini top of that mermaid. And then HB1 and HB2 for the purple bikini top. and CT4 and LV1 for the yellow bikini top. And these are a bunch of like gray colors, and EV1 for this whale thing. I don't know what those are called. And I ended up not using that anyway. And then for the rock, it was some brown colors. And then I'm going to color these little elements here. And I'm just picking some seashell type colors, what I think are seashell type colors. If you want to know the colors, you can always pause the video. I need to make a list when I do this, and I didn't do that. Sorry about that. TB2 and PP3. IG2 for the little fishies, and I'm going to put some purple on them too. That's HB2. And FS8 for the seahorse. OR1. CT3. CR8. CR3. BT4. DG2. Boy, I did a lot of colors. Oh well, that's what's fun. And then I'm just laying out the pieces after I cut them out and to see where I potentially want them. So I'm going to glue these down with wet adhesive. I don't want to use a dry adhesive. I want a wet adhesive so it sticks so the glue goes all the way to the edges. And I'm just going to lay them in there like I want. And this was really fun creating this scene in this jar. And now what I'm going to do is, before I fill this up with all like my sequins and my sea beads, I'm going to put double-sided tape on the foam, and I forgot to push record. But so this is kind of where I'm peeling off the backing of the double-sided tape. And there's my sequence seed beads and you know, little bits and pieces. And I'm going to dump that in, and this is my acetate on my jar front, and I'm going to stick that right on there. And then I'm putting that lid back on just so there's not a big dent. And this is the top, the lid of the jar, and I cut that out on silver cardstock. And now I'm going to wind around some pink twine. I'm going to put that around the lid, and then I'm going to add a little knot. And I'm just going to tie that in just one knot. And then I trim it up. Then I'm using dry adhesive and wet adhesive to put the jar lid on. Look how cute that is. And it shakes really good. The trick is not to put too much stuff in there. If you put too much, then, you know, it doesn't look right. And I'm stamping out waving hello. And I'm going to cut a little fishtail banner. I cut it really skinny on my paper trimmer. And then I cut a fishtail, and then I'm going to glue that underneath the twine there. And I'm just using dry adhesive for that. And that is my shaker card, and I think it turned out super cute. And remember to shop at Tupelo for all your crafting needs. Thanks for watching. Bye.